What's the color of your shirt? Is it pink or purple? Depending on what you answer, you might want to check out this video later because today we're talking about color. We think we know colors. We know that red is exciting and sad at the same time. We know that blue means freedom and peace, but how do we know that? And what if we told you the world could look very different? Welcome to Life Noggin. Have you ever looked at a sunset and wondered, how can your eyes see such a beautiful mix of colors? From the blue of the ocean to the red of a rose, your eyes can perceive millions of shades. But how? It's all thanks to tiny, powerful cells in your eyes called cones. Let's explore how your eyes turn light into a full-color world. Your eyes are like organic cameras. They take in light, focus it, and send signals to your brain to form images. Inside the back of your eye is a layer called the retina, which is lined with millions of nerve cells. There are two main types of light-sensitive cells in your retina. They are the rods and the cones. Rods are photoreceptor cells that are highly sensitive to light. This allows you to see shapes and movement in dim lighting conditions. You have roughly 120 million rods in each eye, giving you the ability to see well in low light like at dusk. They enable night vision, but rods don't see colors. They only see shades of gray. That's why it's harder to tell colors apart when you're re-looking at something in the dark. On the other hand, cones are responsible for seeing colors. Unlike rods, they function best in bright light. Humans typically have 3 types of cones, and each one contains a pigment that is sensitive to a specific range of light wavelengths. The 3 types of cones are the short wavelength cones, which detect blue light, the medium wavelength cones, which detect green light, and the long wavelength cones, which detect red light. Together, these cones send messages to your brain about the wavelengths of light that hit your eye. By comparing the signals from the 3 cones, your brain can calculate the precise color of an object. Each cone has a slightly different sensitivity to various wavelengths of light. If your eyes detect mostly red light, it means you're looking at an orange. But if your eyes detect equal amounts of red, green, and blue light, you're looking at white. Since all 3 cones are activated, colors are determined by which cones are activated the most. If the blue cones are activated the most, you will see blue. If the green cones are activated the most, you will see green. And if the red cones are activated the most, you will see red. Let's look at the famous dress again. What color is it? Depending on which cones are activated, it could be both purple and black, but it's not just colors. Cones also work together to detect brightness and contrast. The brighter the light that enters your eye, the more signals your cones send to your brain. This is why it's easier to see colors when it's light outside. In a darker setting, it's harder for your cones to pick up any light at all, let alone differentiate its color. If you're in a dimly lit room trying to read a menu, you may be able to make out the general shape of the letters on the page, but it'll be tough to tell if they're printed in blue or black ink. In a bright room, however, the light bouncing off the menu will activate your cones more strongly, allowing you to see the ink color. Some people are born without 1 or more types of cones. This leads to color blindness, a condition where certain colors are hard to distinguish. The most common type? Red-green color blindness, where red and green look almost the same. This affects 1 in 12 men and 1 in 200 women worldwide. Though there's no permanent cure yet, special glasses and apps can help simulate normal color perception. But you're probably thinking if colors depend on the activation of your cones, then how do you know that your perception of color is correct? After all, your interpretation of the message sent by your cones is based on the assumption that everyone else sees the same colors the way you do. In the end, color is a visual experience created by your brain to help you interpret the world around you. Because your brain compares the signals received from your cones to previously stored information, including memories of past experiences and associations with certain colors. However, there is a small possibility that someone could see colors differently than you do. This is because the strength of the connections between your cones and your brain can vary from person to person, which means some people could potentially experience subtle differences in how they see colors. This is unlikely, though, as our brains rely on past experiences and comparisons to formulate memories. So the idea of someone seeing a completely different set of colors is quite impossible. And we know that even if two people have the same number of cones and their connections to the brain are identical, they still won't see colors exactly the same way. This is because the cones themselves are like little factories that create color information. And just like factories, they wear down over time. For example, if someone spends a lot of time outdoors in bright light, their cones will be exposed to lots of UV rays. This could damage the cones and change the way they see colors. As a result, an outdoor worker who spends most of their days in the sun may start to see colors a little differently than someone who works indoors in a climate-controlled office building. So what about colors that aren't colors, like black and white? White happens when all three cones are equally stimulated, as in bright sunlight. Black is the absence of light, so no cones are stimulated. Gray is just a dimmer version of white. Our ability to see color is one of evolution's greatest gifts. It helps us identify things quickly. For instance, we can spot overripe fruit from a distance because it's usually a darker red or black. When we were hunter-gatherers, being able to identify poisonous plants or dangerous animals was a matter of life and death. If you saw a snake, you had to immediately recognize it as dangerous and slither away. Today, it might seem like a quaint memory, but the skill has stayed with us. That's why babies are born with the ability to see color. It's thought that color vision helps them identify their parents' faces more easily. Even though newborns' retinas haven't fully developed and they can't see color perfectly for another few months, studies show that babies are more interested in looking at colorful faces than at gray faces. Yes, in fact, humans don't have the best color vision in the animal kingdom. Bees see ultraviolet colors that we can't today. Dogs only have 2 types of cones. They see mostly blue and yellow. The mantis shrimp has up to 16 cones, seeing colors we can't even imagine. We live in a rainbow world, but animals might live in a universe of colors far beyond ours. So now that you know how your cones work, here are some fun facts about animals' color vision. Cats have 2 types of cones and are most sensitive to blue and green. That's why cat toys that flash these colors are extra enticing. Bees and butterflies can see ultraviolet light, helping them find nectar and pollen. Ultraviolet vision lets them see patterns on flowers that guide them to the sweet stuff. Birds can see a wider range of colors than humans, which helps them find mates and spot predators. Some birds' beaks and feathers have special markings that reflect UV light, making them stand out during courtship rituals. Chameleons can change the color of their skin to camouflage themselves and communicate. They have special cells called chromatophores that contain pigments. By controlling how these pigments are distributed, chameleons can change their color in minutes. Your cones don't just see colors, they also work together to detect brightness and contrast. Now that you know a little bit about color, go ahead and check out our video on your eyes. Click here to watch our video, Can Your Eyes Ever Stop Bleeding? Or click here to watch this video. As always, this has been your host. Don't forget to keep on thinking.